Are you tired or are you uninspired? Hey everyone, and welcome to the I Got This podcast with LEX and MGP. My name is Lex, and I've been a personal trainer over the last 5 years. Martha started her fitness journey with me 3 years ago, and over that time, she's lost over 60 pounds and changed her entire perspective on life. Join us each and every week as we talk about our journey together, healthy lifestyle habits, and of course, the I Got This mentality. Hey everybody, welcome back to I Got This podcast with Lex and MGP. Today we're talking about energy levels. I know throughout the day, I often get tired around like 2 or 3 o'clock. Some days I want to nap literally all day. That was me yesterday. I have phases of life in which like certain months, like I'm just tired and dragging all the time. And then there are months where I'm like super energized. I have this motivation and I'm super pumped up. So, we are going to look at the factors that make us more fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to talk a little bit about mental motivation as well.
Okay.
Please remember, number one, that we are not doctors. We are not dietitians. We are only talking about what we know. So if you ever are feeling like more tired or you feel like something is actually wrong deeper, please see a doctor. This is very important. Or a psychologist or a therapist of any sorts if you're feeling like you're having any symptoms of depression or anything along those lines.
Yep, we're just here to talk about our experiences.
Cool. All right. So Martha, when are times in your life where you may feel tired or fatigued?
I mean, there's some obvious ones. If I get inadequate sleep, of course, I find that I have to get at least 7 hours. 8 is better.
Yeah.
Last night I actually got 9.5, which is crazy.
And I think that's like the easiest one. Like, when you're tired from not sleeping enough.
Right.
There's like this weird like fogginess. I always get a migraine if I'm tired.
I'll get kind of a headache. Yeah, like a dull headache.
Yeah. Or you like wake up and or sometimes you wake up and you immediately know and you're like, today's going to be a long day.
It's going to be tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like burns behind your eyes almost a little sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. So that's definitely, for sure. Inadequate sleep is going to make me drag.
I feel like most people know when that happens. And then do you know the times where you get too much sleep and you're like groggy all day? Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah. I thought that would be me today with 9.5 hours, but I feel great.
I
must have needed it.
Yeah.
So obviously that's an obvious one.
Right.
Almost, silly, but it is one. I also get tired when I don't get enough movement.
I know. There is science behind that. We just looked this up prior to the episode. When you are not moving your body enough, you're actually, you get more tired. The science I actually couldn't find. So I do want to come back to that. But if the saying, a body in motion stays in motion, well, a body at rest stays at rest as well. So if you're not moving your body, you're going to stay more tired. Your heart rate's going to stay low. You're going to be ready to sit, and fall asleep. So
I don't have a job. You have a very active job. Mine's kind of active as a teacher, but I find if I'm sitting in meetings all day, as opposed to like actively teaching, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And you would think it would be the opposite, as opposed to like running around the classroom and whatever. But
yeah, I feel like when my brain is stimulated constantly, it's easier for me to stay awake. But whenever I am bored of the information, like a meeting, that's when I start to get tired for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I also get really tired if I don't eat well.
Yes.
Yeah. So and I'm not talking even drinking. I'm just talking eating food that's not great for me.
Food that's too greasy or deep fried or just
high in sugar,
high in unhealthy white carbs, starchy carbs sometimes make you tired. Things to think about. What you are, how about this? Not you are what you eat. You feel what you eat.
Yeah.
Drastically. And that's very important to remember.
Yeah. It tastes good, but then later I'm just dragging. I'm like, and I know. Yeah. I definitely know.
Sometimes I'll have clients come in for a 6 p.m. workout and they'll say, oh my God, I'm so tired today. And the first question I ask is, when is the last time you ate? And guess what? Normally it's at like noon.
Yeah. So it's not even what you ate. Sometimes it is timing as well. You're right.
It's like you haven't eaten in hours. Your body's depleted of energy. You need fuel.
I'm feeling this a little bit lately. We're going through a cut right now. And so we've reduced my calories and it's a little tough on certain days. I actually do feel hunger sometimes, which I know, and it's intentional, but there's been a couple days where I'm like, I am just zapped.
Yeah. When you start to decrease your calories, you're running off less fuel. So you are going to be a little bit more tired naturally.
Yeah.
You're also you started that at the same time you started teaching again.
Yes.
So it could be a factor of like waking up really early too. I think when you change your sleep patterns,
my whole routine's been changed.
Exactly. So that's going to affect your sleep for sure. You're definitely getting less sleep too compared to your normal. Like you were getting 8, you're probably getting 7.5 to 7 now.
I mean, I'm putting myself to bed at like 9:30 now. It's like I'm 10 years old, but
that's good though. We like that.
I need to do it. Yep.
Poor diet. Another one, I am pre-cycle and I took 3 naps. No, I took 2 naps yesterday. I got a full night of sleep. I took a nap after work at 1, and then I came back after like hanging out for the day at like 5. I took another nap.
Yeah. Hormones can really make you tired.
Hormones can make you tired.
They really can.
And I don't know if this is just me. I know before my cycle, I get tired. I know it. But then every time like my period comes and I'm like, oh, that's why I was tired. Like it's
like it's a surprise.
Like it's a surprise. It's like every month. I know why I'm tired. Like I should know that by now.
It's not your first year. Come on.
Exactly. It's silliness. It's like I play the same game with myself.
We all do that.
No,
we all do that.
We're like, what's wrong? Oh, we know what's wrong. Come on.
No, hormones play a big part in it. And I just remember the first, like with both of my kids, the first couple months being pregnant when your hormones are completely going crazy. Yeah. You're exhausted. I think you're more exhausted in the first trimester than the second or third, really. So yeah, it's just hormones.
Hormones, yeah. So there's another reason you could be tired.
Yeah.
A lot of people get tired middle of the day, like after 1 or 2 o'clock. I know there is science behind this. In Europe, they have the siesta after lunch. All the stores close, so everybody can go home and take a nap after lunchtime.
Yeah, we need to get that.
Yes, we absolutely need to get that.
Sign me up.
I know. So my schedule, I work early in the morning, late in the evening, and then I take a midday nap. And I think I got it right, honestly. I'm like, my sleep schedule is bomb. I get a midday nap.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, I always laugh because I teach high school, obviously, but the kindergarten teachers, it's all day kindergarten now in Michigan. And they
all day kindergarten?
Yeah, they go the whole day, not a half day. Like they used to go just morning or just afternoon. So they go all day.
What?
I know, but they get nap time.
They do.
And I'm like, oh, I am teaching the wrong grade.
Where do they nap? On the floor?
They have like little nap mats.
Aww. Yeah, because that's a long time for a kindergartner.
It's a long time for me.
It's a long time for anybody. Why are they doing that? Just to catch them up? Or
yeah, they need to rest. Their little brains and bodies are tired.
No, I mean, why are they doing the all-day kindergarten? I know why they're napping. Why they gotta rest their little brains and bodies. That's how I feel when I take a nap. Oh, you need to rest your little brain and body.
Does Lex need a little rest?
Yes.
No, they started doing it. No, it was pre-pandemic. It has nothing to do with getting them caught up that way. It just became a half day was a logistics nightmare for a lot of parents that are working.
Oh, okay.
And it also just, they've done some educational studies and stuff. So
cool.
I honestly, being a secondary teacher, I'm not sure all the ins and outs of it, but I do know that they do it now.
Right. I'm curious.
But I know childcare was a huge part of it.
Oh, I bet.
To be honest.
Yeah,
so.
I bet.
Stress. Continuing on, I guess, with
going back to sleep.
Why we're tired.
Why you're tired.
Stress can tire me out. Even if I am getting enough sleep, I probably am not getting quality sleep.
Not just physical stress or mental, emotional stress too.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. For sure. Yeah.
Oh my God, does it wear you out? Like when you're going through a stressful situation or like trauma or like you have like a stressful relationship or anything along those lines, my God, can your like brain and
or
body
just something happened at work that day that you can't turn it off
because your brain is just like overworked dealing with it. It's hard. It's a really hard one. I think that's one that we don't give as much credit to, which we very much so should.
Yeah. And even if I do sleep, I feel like I don't sleep as well.
Yeah.
Even if it's creeping somehow into your dreams or whatever, it just
it's so crazy how stress can affect your brain and your body. It's insane. Another one, sunlight. If you're not getting enough sunlight, that can make you tired.
Oh, just think about all the people that have that like seasonal affective disorder come wintertime around here.
Yeah.
I mean, I leave for work in the dark and it's dark again by 4:30 when I'm coming,
I know, we all get it.
It's tough. Yeah. And some people just don't even get any sunlight because they're working the whole time the sun is up in December or January. Yeah, for sure.
Ugh, it gives me creepy jeebies. I don't like it.
We're not in a rush for winter.
No. Well, I don't know. I do like winter.
Just fall's fine.
Well, let's talk. Okay, so we talked about some of the logistics. These are some things that you should look at. I think nutrition is by far the biggest one. You are probably tired if you're not eating enough or you're eating the wrong things.
Wrong food, yeah.
Last one, we didn't talk about dehydration. If you're not drinking enough water, if you're going from like wake up, have a cup of coffee, and then more caffeine, like pop or something, like you could be tired because you're completely dehydrated.
Sure.
So that's something to think about as well.
If you're fatigued, I've even found if I just have a big glass of water, sometimes that helps. Absolutely.
I know. Isn't it weird? You like chug it and then you're like, whoa, I feel oddly better.
Yeah. No, I do have some friends. It didn't affect me as much when I was the 50 pounds heavier, but I do have a lot of friends who have weight issues. And then they also have apnea. So if you're snoring or your partner's telling you that, please go get that checked out by a doctor. Because I have a lot of friends that have done that and in correcting their apnea are now able to sleep too.
Yeah. And that has to do with your health as well.
Yeah, like, that can cause a lot of medical issues. So please, if you're fatigued and your partner's telling you that, please go get checked for apnea.
Thank you for saying that.
Yep.
Good. Well, let's talk about the mental side of it. This is where we have more to talk on. So at the beginning of our episode, we said, are you tired or are you uninspired? And I think there was a song, I think I've brought it up on this podcast before. It's like, sometimes I just like get bored of life. Like, do you ever just get bored of life and you're like tired? So you like don't want to do anything. You don't know what you want to do. And going back to like goal setting, when I feel like I am not making gains towards the person that I want to be, or like I'm stuck in a cycle that is not productive, I feel like I'm genuinely like very, very tired.
Well, it causes a lack of motivation at this point.
Exactly.
Right?
So then it's that lack of motivation. I want to do less. I'll do my day-to-days, but like I'm not excited for life in general.
Get the bare minimum done.
Yeah. Exactly. Going back and just, I do want to say this one more time. Like, if you're feeling this chronically, please see a doctor. This is more of like a mental check of, something that you could change on your own, but obviously not all brains are like that.
No.
And you have to know that that's okay if your brain does not work like that, and that's okay. Yeah. So I think I've been in those ruts. I think it's a lot of where my train of thought is. A lot of the time I'm like, oh, I need a vacation or I need something that gets me excited. I feel like when I set a really big goal for myself, like we talked on our last episode, I tend to be the most excited for life. And when I start to make traction and big gains towards that goal, I get the most excited for life.
Right.
Yeah. So then I'm the most productive version of myself generally. Yeah.
Yeah. You have something that you're excited about and that you want to get to.
Yeah.
It's when you have that lack of motivation that you feel fatigued, I think.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah.
And that can be a lot.
Or lack of discipline. Right.
Yeah. And you can't, motivation doesn't always carry you through. So sometimes the discipline has to do it. But I've also found too, often the motivation for me kicks in after I start something, not before.
Yes.
And so sometimes you just have to use that discipline and kind of force yourself to get started. And then the motivation will kick in.
Honestly, I believe that's the biggest thing. I truly think that if you start doing something that's hard for you, you will be more excited to do it every single day. I think sometimes consistency will give you excitement. I think. And then the other thing is, I think a lot of people look for others to give them that sense of motivation or excitement, or I need something different, right? Like I need something. It's like you create your own reality. You create what you see in this world. I have a client of mine who is a little bit more of a, it's always, the mentality always is, I hear from this person, it's always out of their own mouth. And the mindset is, I got to figure out what I'm doing with life. That's what the person always says. I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. And I think it's such a, well, I'll figure it out. And it's like, well, what are you doing to make you excited? Like, okay, let's say you like traveling. Well, what are you doing to get to where you want to go to be a traveler? Okay, that's fine. Like everybody, like who doesn't like traveling?
There are some people, but no, not us.
Not us. Not us. That's true. There are some people. But it's like, okay, if you got to figure out your life, pick one thing that you like and start working towards it. And I guarantee you'll be a little bit more inspired.
You have to create a mission.
Yes, you got to create it. You got to create your personal mission.
A reason to act, a reason to do.
Yes, The Alchemist, Pablo Coelho.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
Exactly.
What is your life's personal mission?
Yeah, you have to accomplish something.
Yes, and we all will get in we will all get in ebbs and flows of life where like life just gets boring. Yes, I think there are times where it's like, okay, I don't like this part. I don't like this part. I want to do this, but I'm not getting where I want to go. Yes. But if you have like a bigger purpose and you know what that bigger purpose is and you put a little bit of effort every single day, you will start to become a little bit more inspired. That tired feeling will start to shift.
Yeah. No, I agree. And after you create that mission, then you can plan and prioritize how you're going to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, we just brought this whole "Are you tired or uninspired?" back to goal setting.
But it all goes hand in hand, and then you have to schedule it, right?
Everything is affected goes into everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of the energy too, and some of this lack of motivation. For me, sometimes I have to take a break from other parts of the world. And so maybe that's taking a break from the news. Sometimes that can drag you down. Sometimes it's taking a break from social media. That can drag you down. So you have to just figure out a way to get started.
Yes.
And that's where, now yesterday I was telling Lex that my husband and I did this big backyard project. And did I really want to go do the backyard project? No, that sounds horrible. And it was. But once we got going, then we were motivated to get it done. Were we motivated? Did we have a lot of energy to do it beforehand? No. But sometimes you just have to suck it up, start, and then when we saw the progress we were making, that's when we got motivated.
Yes.
And I'm only talking about a few hour project, but this can translate to anything.
Yeah.
That's bigger.
It can.
Yeah.
So I think, and then going back, I agree with this. So part one of our mentality, I think, summing up our last little bit is saying, if you're uninspired, just start something of purpose. Okay. I think another part of it is dreaming. I think if you're feeling uninspired, what inspires you?
Yeah.
What draws excitement out of you? And if you feel like you can't find that, and again, if you're feeling like you can't find inspiration, that's when you start looking towards things that inspire you. And that normally is travel, reading, movies. So if you are feeling like you can't dream, like you can't find something that you really want to work towards, if you can't find a bigger goal, then I would say start looking for things that inspire you. Whether that's traveling, whether that be reading, whether that be movies. Nature generally inspires many people, I think. Experiences, whether that's skydiving or tree running or being active. Like find something where just the idea of something might trigger you to be a little bit more excited.
Like a mental reset.
A mental reset.
Yeah.
Yes. And you don't have to travel to have a mental reset. Of course,
and it doesn't have to be a big trip.
No.
It can be like a little staycation or something local.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a client, I challenged her, this one's a good one. I challenged her to be alone for this month.
Okay.
She only spent 1 weekend alone. She's freaking phenomenal. This girl moved to Michigan to train with me. She lived in Chicago. She trained with me for about 6 months. She called me. She said, Alexis, I'm moving to Michigan. Will you take me on as a client? And I was like, yes. She's literally moved to train with me, which is the biggest compliment I have ever received in my career. And I'm so beyond grateful. You know who you are. When she got to Michigan, I thought she was going to be alone a little bit more. I was like, okay, this is good. All your people that instill not so great habits are going to not really be around you. But it turned out she had a lot of friends in this area. I didn't know. And a lot of friends that would travel to see her too. Okay. So would come to her. And so I said, okay, I want you to spend the month of September trying to focus on yourself and be alone. And I want you to take space. And she spent 1 weekend by herself, just cleaning her apartment, meal prepping. And she looked at me and she said, I feel so much more clear-minded and so much more excited for the week to come. I was like, really? And she said, yeah, I'm excited for the week. I'm not stressed. I was like, well, number one, probably because you prepped, but number two, because you had space. And I said, you probably had thoughts that you wouldn't have had if you were bombarded with other people's energy and thoughts and attention and what you have to do to take care of them.
And overstimulus even.
Yes, overstimulated, all that good stuff. So maybe you have too much going on. And maybe if you sit in silence or you cut the world out for just a little while, you will feel slightly more inspired.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I meant by take a break from the world. Sometimes you just have to take a break and step back.
Yeah.
And that could be from friends. It could be from just social media. It could be news. It could just be, I just need some quiet time. Yeah.
And that can sometimes inspire you more than you know. It's beyond shocking. It's the same premise as meditation. And I think I'm not a big meditator. I would love to get into it. I feel like
I've tried so many times.
Have you really?
And I just can't seem to do it. Yeah.
Really? What do you think holds you back?
I don't know. I feel like I could be doing something else with my time. And I know that doesn't make it invaluable, or valuable or less valuable is what I'm trying to say. But I found other ways to use that time. Maybe it's my journaling is maybe a kind of a form of that, as opposed to just sitting quietly. I am sitting quietly, usually with like a cup of coffee, and just kind of, I try to do it outside when I can. So maybe that's kind of like a meditation, but it's not traditional. It's not traditional meditation that you see people sitting on a rug, with their legs crossed.
I feel like you use the time to organize your thoughts, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely do. Yeah.
That's how you do it. You organize your thoughts. I think I'm curious. I mean, I'd like to look deeper into it. I think I'd like to try it. I'd like to try it. The thought process of meditating is that you shove out all other thoughts.
Right.
And you close out any sound or noise. And whatever thoughts come to you are what the greater power wanted you to hear, wanted you to think, or whatever. Right. But I guess that'll be my goal for the next, not right now, but I'm going to try and get into it, and I'll report
Let me know how that goes. Well, I've even tried, because our phones, of course, our phones have that mindfulness thing that'll pop up, and it's like, take a minute. And I've tried, and it's like the funny picture comes across the screen, and I'm like, I can't do this right now.
It's interesting though. I mean, it is interesting. Like some of the world's greatest spiritual leaders, they preach it beyond belief. So there's got to be something to it.
Absolutely. I mean, I kind of wish and I'm not saying I can't do it. I'm sure I could. I just probably need to try again. But if you told me 2 years ago that I would take 10 minutes every day to journal, I would have been like, nah. So baby steps.
Baby steps.
We're getting there.
I'm sure there's something to it. I'm just curious what exactly it is. So
for sure.
Yeah. If anybody knows somebody who's like really good into meditation, let us know. We'd like to talk about it. We'd like to learn.
Yeah. I've even tried. I've tried the music in the background.
You're just not doing it right. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. I need a lesson maybe.
Yeah.
Why don't you figure that out and let me know?
I'll work on it.
Get there.
Anyways. Okay. So going back to Tired vs. Uninspired, there are so many ways that you can combat this, but just knowing that it's a natural part of life, I think is important. Like human beings are human beings. We have waves of motivation versus lack of it. We have waves of great days and we have bad days. And I think to pretend that we're always going to be the super motivated people, it's just not reality. I have a couple in my life that are the most go-getter couple I've ever met in my life. Go-getter, buying a house, renovating house, buying another house, renovating house, doing marathons, going on vacation, going to weddings, getting like all these, like things, always doing something. I'm always comparing myself. And there are a few people out there that like they truly do it and they get it done and they're always inspired. Maybe that's just because they've picked the right partner. I don't know.
Well, you also don't know what's going on behind closed doors. That's just what you're seeing. So
yeah, it is. It's true. But also it's like, don't compare yourself to those people, because guess what? That's not the majority of the world. That's not everybody. It's okay. I may be uninspired, but how do I push through this bout? How do I push through this to get to the goal? Or how do I lift myself up enough just to like feel good today? And that's even if that's the goal, I just want to feel good today. Right. That's a pretty damn good goal.
Absolutely. And I think we also kind of are hard on ourselves about this sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you see someone else and you're like, oh, why are they so motivated all the time? Why are they doing these things all the time? Why do they have so much energy?
Right.
They probably don't.
Yeah.
You're just seeing that side.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of take that too.
You do. It's again, going back to like what you think is reality versus what is not.
And being kind to yourself.
Being kind to yourself is always number one.
Yes, absolutely. And, I've had people say that to me, wow, why is it so easy for you to say motivated? I'm like,
you're like, I am not motivated.
I think just this past week, I put my head down on your desk and was like, do we really have to go work out? And you're like, yeah, get up.
Yeah. And then
that happens.
I think the other thing too, is like picking those people who pick you up in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like surrounding yourself with people who are going to say, I know you're not feeling it today, but let's do it together. It's having that support system.
I think your exact words were, put your shoes on, we're going.
Yes.
You said it kindly.
I did. I said, put your shoes on, let's go. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and we did. And it was fine. And it was once back to the thing, the motivation kicked in once we started.
Once you started.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, I really like where this went. I think those are my biggest thoughts on Are You Tired or Uninspired? But don't ever be afraid to take a short nap. I am a huge believer in power naps, hour-long naps. Any nap you need, take that nap.
Excuse me, fourth hour, but your teacher needs to take a little nap. So teach yourselves.
I mean, when you can. So I used to take naps in my car in the middle of my work days because, like I was very physical.
Right.
And mentally demanding job. So like if I needed like 20 minutes, I would take it and I woke up feeling so much better. So if you need a nap, take a freaking nap.
If you can.
If you can.
Not you won't get fired.
Yes. But the podcast girl said I could take a nap. At my desk. I don't know.
Or you just have to make sure you're getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. A lot of different factors. Look at those top few factors, though. Look at how much you're eating, when you ate, your hydration levels, your sleep, how well you're sleeping, your diet, your hormones. Look at all that stuff. That stuff matters.
And stress. And it's easy to say manage your stress, but that's not always, it's easier said than done, for sure. So we have to figure out ways that we can relieve some of that stress as well.
Yeah. All right. I like this episode. Guys, thank you all so much for listening. Of course, we love your feedback. We love your reviews. And we love 5-star ratings the most.
We do. So, use that energy to hop on over there and click 5 stars.
And per usual, telling your friends and family about our podcast, if it helped you in any way, would help us so much. Just that extra listen. When we see that count go up, we're like, oh my God, this is so cool. So please listen.
That helps our motivation kick in.
It does. Sure. Keeps us inspired. So thank you all so much.
I got this. Hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. For more I Got This content, please make sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or you can always go to our website, igotThisPod.com for more info. As always, thanks for listening. See you next Monday.